All right, thank you all so much. We are resuming our meeting, our city commission meeting. It is 5 o'clock, a little bit past then, and we have citizen comments remaining on the agenda. Thank you for everyone who's come to speak. Pat is our city clerk, and she has a speaker card. You can fill a card out. And
Hi, are we there still, or hasn't started? I don't want you to forget about me.
Commissioner Coleri, yes, is that you? All right, well, we can hear you. And if you can hear us, then you can take the comments in as well. All right, as soon as the clerk hands me the comments, I'll go ahead and invite you all up.
Arlene?
Yes, hi, we're here. Go ahead.
All right, Myra Weaver, please come on up, followed by Yolanda Jean.
Hi, I'm Myra Weaver, a very long time resident of Hollywood. If I were to say to you that there is a dangerous situation that would be hazardous to our children, if I said that now, you would say, I didn't know about that. If I told you that I've made it an issue, contacted people, gone to offices, then you'd have to say, well, I didn't care about that. Because I'm trying very hard to make sure something is done about a situation prior to something that could impact us in a very serious way. And what I'm referring to, as so many people do, is talking about a traffic situation, particularly the traffic circle on Taft and 40th, which is where I live. I'm in the second house. It's right near the school. It's the crosswalk for the school. That circle is the most traveled egress exit off of that circle because it goes to Sheridan. Constant. There are always people crossing. There are always dogs and wheelchairs. And let me show you a picture. I took this, and the reason I could take this is because the car, oh, sorry. If anybody wants to see it back there, this shows they're walking home from school. This is the circle. The car, I heard the car screeching because coming off of that circle, the traffic comes off of it insanely. It's like they're shot out of a slingshot. I care very much for children. They're a priority. I run the state of Florida's largest children's arts organization, and it's based right here in Hollywood, 700 kids, and I used to teach 5th grade. So I see these school children and others who are trying to get across that crosswalk, and the cars coming off of the circle, no matter where they got on, the minute they get to that corner, they're mad. We made them make a circle. They're not happy about that. So what do? They stomp on the gas. I'm surprised their foot doesn't go right through the floorboard because they are just anxious to get away from that circle. And when they do that, there are usually people there. I can't say every car does that. Some are quite polite. But the majority of the cars, once they reach that exit off of the circle, they're insane. And you can hear them, you can see them. Something is going to happen. I just know it. And I've been talking about this for a number of years. I visited one of the commissioners a couple of years ago, and we discussed,
Thank you, Ms. Weaver.
Okay.
If your request is for us to take a look at the
Yes.
at the signage and try to
Yes.
calm people down around that circle, then that's what the city manager and team just heard, and we'll go ahead and do that. I live nearby also, and so I'm familiar with the circle. And thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's go with Yolanda Jean, followed by Yvonne Lisme. She'll tell me. Ledesma. Okay, Yolanda Jean, hi.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yolanda, and I live in the city of Hollywood. So last week when I went online to pay my mother's water bill, I seen an excessive $2,500 additional to her bill. After I called the city of Hollywood, they told me that it was because of 15 months of excessive of estimated billing. They've never informed us. I've never got any notice, never any intent. Nothing has been shown that the bill was estimated. And now that when I spoke to Keisha, the supervisor downstairs, she's informed me she gave me until today to pay. And I've informed her my mother's an elderly, disabled woman who's on a fixed income who don't have the funds at this moment. My question is, what's the protocol behind when the meter is not being read? That's not being done for 15 consecutive months of allowing this to lapse. It's a problem. Coming behind the elderly who doesn't have the income to come with this, now the water might get shut off. You never know what's going to happen in the city of Hollywood. To me, my thing is creating a grant to help these people that are having these issues that was never informed, so they can subsidize this. Because honestly, the city of Hollywood Utilities, they neglected to inform us as the residents of city of Hollywood. We love Hollywood. We've been here for 17 years. We're not going anywhere, but we love this, but we also need to know what are the protocols behind maintaining the meters and allowing us time to catch up. I understand a week, but allowing 15 consecutive months, to me, that's neglect.
I think you make a very good point, and I agree with you. And the city manager and the utilities department should revise that protocol, because giving someone a 15-month estimated bill in 1 month is, not something that can just suddenly be sprung up without explanation and the whole question of estimating for 15 months, I agree with you, is just a problem in itself. So hopefully the city manager hearing this will report to us what they're going to do differently, and in your case as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yvonne Ledesma, followed by Kat Uden.
Hi, thank you. My name is Yvonne Ledesma, and I'm a resident at Parkview. I'm here tonight to speak about the Washington Park Community Center and the opportunity it represents for our neighborhood. When I first moved to Parkview a little over 2 years ago, I was surprised to see that our neighborhood community center offered no classes or sports for kids. I was surprised because, having lived in Miami Shores and Sunny Isles, they have community centers that are hubs for activities and events. Washington Park has the space and potential to be a vibrant community hub, but right now it's underutilized and does not fully serve the families who live nearby. With thoughtful investment, the center could better support children, parents, and residents of all ages. Our community is asking for expanded programming, more frequent community events, and a safer, more engaging playground on the property, which right now there is a playground, with shade and equipment for children of all ages. In January, I conducted a small survey with the Moms of Parkview WhatsApp group, and there was a strong interest in adult Pilates classes and for children programming like dance and gymnastics. There is a clear demand for local accessible enrichment opportunities. Additionally, the large field next to the community center is currently offering no organized sports. Many children in our neighborhood would love to be able to play soccer or baseball close to home and not have to drive clear across town to access these activities. Also, there are no sports for girls in all of Hollywood. My daughter, who's sitting here at 10 years old, I have to take her to other communities in order for her to have access to activities. I would love to be able to take her to classes right here in my neighborhood, and investing in Washington Park would make a difference for families like mine and would help ensure the spaces truly serves the residents, and that was the reason it was built. I understand that there are some barriers due to after-school programming. That being said, other community centers in other cities actually have found creative ways to do both, offer activities and also have this after-school programming. In Aventura, for example, you can drop off and pick up your kids outside of the community center, so no adults enter. So finally, I wanted to add how important it is to offer activities for kids of all ages. Bored children make trouble for the police and the neighbors, and being able to offer events and activities can be a part of also benefiting public safety in addition to enriching our community. So thank you so much for your attention. And my request is that during the budgeting process, we allocate some more resources to this side of Hollywood and this community center. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Commissioner Hernandez, did you want to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. I received an email that you sent as well. And by the way, there are some organized sports in Washington Park. I believe it's football. If
No, not anymore.
somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll correct you, there's no more, no longer.
But
It
they
has
might
been
have,
that way in
uh,
about 6 months.
They might have dissipated.
Okay, and I agree with some of the statements that you've made regarding being underutilized. So that's something that Parks and Recs or the city manager will probably be able to look into. I don't know if we can offer everything that you're looking for, but there's definitely the ability to utilize the park more.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And just to reiterate, that program stopped a few months ago, about 6 months ago, and nothing has been put in place.
And the program stopped because there was a feud among the leagues, not because we don't want to provide for the park. So,
Okay,
but thank you.
great.
Point well
Thank
taken.
you so much.
You're welcome.
Right. Thank you.
And Yvonne, hi Mayor, Yvonne.
Commissioner Coleri.
Oh, hi. You know, I'm not used to this. I'm
Nice.
used to just walking away after public comment. I love this, that we can interchange. Yes.
Hi Yvonne, thank you for bringing that forward. It's
Where is it
Tracy
coming
Cole.
from? Oh, okay. Is this Tracy? Hi, Tracy.
Hi Yvonne, you neglected to let them know your past life, but thank you for bringing it forward. Thank you for speaking up.
You're
And thank
so
you for
cute.
being here. It's great to see you again after all these years.
I know. I wish you were here in person. I would have liked to see
Tell
you.
us your past life now.
I was a councilwoman in Miami Shores
Okay,
for
great.
4 years.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it? Anything else?
I know Commissioner
okay.
Quintana, I know, has been working on this too. Go ahead, Commissioner
Thank
Quintana.
you.
So I just have to say how grateful I am to have someone like you in our district. Because as you know, I've been talking about this for quite some time, but to hear the voice of our residents is really what makes the difference.
And to bring my daughter. I mean, adorable. I know. It's so cute.
Isabella is a rising young leader in our city, I'm sure, just like her
But-
mom.
Yeah, we have so many great kids out there. They really would be able to use some activities. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Ricky, we've been talking about activities, so there's another set of ideas. Kat Uden, followed by Aaron Fish, and then the final speaker will be Aaron Marvasti.
All right. Hello. I think I've said it before, but I think it bears repeating that it's very difficult for working folks to get to citizen comments if they want to speak in person before 5:30. I would strongly recommend moving citizen comments to at least 5:30 and beyond. I just wanted to say that I participated in Dine Out Hollywood. I think it was in November, and it was a really great idea. My husband and I used it as an opportunity to try a new restaurant as well as go to one we haven't been to in a while. I heard some suggestions for possibly improving it if the city wanted to do it again. I know that was the first time that you did it. Some suggestions were better promotion and outreach. I did speak with one business owner who said that he didn't have a single person come to his restaurant for Dine Out Hollywood. And I asked him if anybody from the city had gone for some type of post-event analysis. How many people did you get? What could we do to improve it? So I think maybe that would be important, just to say, just take some data with the business owners, like how many people did you have that knew about the program, that came to do it, so that if we were going to do it again, we could improve upon it, and just how we can better support those business owners. As far as downtown Hollywood, I know there was some requests for feedback for downtown Hollywood. I'm sure you've heard a lot of these before, but some of residents were saying, more events that bring residents downtown, live music, and also family-friendly activities where people feel that they can bring their kids downtown. Obviously, better marketing. I've heard influencers, and just things to increase foot traffic. So, a lot of the reasons why people go to places like Dania Point is not only the free parking, but also because you can safely have your kids run around there. There are shops to go to. We don't have a whole lot of shops downtown. So unless you're going to a specific coffee shop or bar or restaurant, you probably aren't going to kind of wander in there and look at storefronts, because there aren't really a whole lot of stores. So just diversifying the businesses. And then just one last point. I know you hear from me a lot on the beach and appropriate development. But right now, our city is in a lawsuit with a developer wanting to build a Live Local project at the Broadwalk. And at the same time, we're asking the county to do a land use amendment to allow a 27-story or taller tower at that site. The concern from residents is that if that lawsuit was to be won, and that developer is allowed to use a special exception, Margaritaville as the height, that if we then have a 27-story tower as a special exception, then that will become the standard on the beach. So basically, we would be allowing 27 stories all down the beach. So just something to keep in mind with that land use amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron Fish, followed by Aaron Marvasti.
Hi, good afternoon. I work with Eco Pipelining, and we do trenchless pipelining services in different municipalities in Florida, as well as in
You can be closer to the mic, Aaron.
the city of Hollywood. And one thing, just to point to at least notify the city that we're going around and we're assisting people in replacing restoring their sewer line, and we see that there's companies that are going around and providing coding and not pulling permits, and it's hard for legit companies that are doing good work to compete with companies like that. So I think if the city could keep a lookout for companies that are not pulling permits and are not performing the work that they're supposed to perform under code and under the city ordinance, that will assist companies that really want to help the residents in restoring their pipes. It's a great service for the city. The city as well could use that service, and we see people that are performing it and really harming the residents.
Thank you. I know that our development services director is here and she's listening. Thank you. And if you have an opportunity to report any particular properties where there's evidence of this, then please share it with us. Thank you. Aaron Marvasti.
Good
Hello, Erin.
afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, I know you're listening, Commissioners, and the city staff. First and foremost, I wanted to thank the city and Public Works. We just did a great project on 74th and Charleston. It was great to see our residents out there over the weekend, mothers pushing their strollers. So on behalf of the mothers, the residents, I wanted to thank you because that was a great project that we got done. There are a couple bullet points that I wanted to bring up. We do have our sidewalks between 72nd, I'm sorry, our streets between 72nd, Sheridan, and Taft. On the west side, it belongs to the city of Pembroke Pines, and on the east side is us. So maybe we can somehow compromise with the two cities together. We have repaired their street quite a few times, but it really needs to be repaved, so just wanted to bring that up. And the second bullet point that I have is that there's been illegal dumping in our Driftwood Park. It was resolved a few years ago. We did plant some trees, but it's starting to happen again. And thought maybe we can, just a suggestion, maybe we could put a camera that could help deter whoever is doing this, and maybe possibly also put like a monetary fine, just to possibly stop it, because something, is continuously happening. And lastly, our wonderful situation with our septic to sewer. I know this has been an ongoing thing, and it is a hefty price tag. So this is for one of our residents, Chris, who has reached out to me, along with other residents. If it's possible that we can just, and I know Commissioner Biederman and you guys have been working strong on this, but if we could just keep District 5 in mind, to try to put, District 5 as a priority. And that's pretty much it. So I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Commissioner Hernandez, did you want to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. Not necessarily regarding this, but the comment that was made earlier for the lady who's been estimated for 15 months on the water bill, we actually paid extra for the Neptune meters in order to avoid something like this. And I think that the least we can do, just as a rule of thumb, if it took 15 months of estimating, maybe we give them 15 months of for them to be able to pay because it's a gradual in order to do that. But I've had a situation with a lady on my district where the water actually, underground pipe broke, and she wound up with a $2,000 water bill. This was supposed to be something that the Neptune meters were supposed to avoid. I spoke with Vin regarding something like this, and they haven't reached out to her, but they're working on that. And he tells me that there's not much we can do because the water was used. we promised our residents that this would be avoided, and now they're coming up with things that are not, and these are not the norm. So there's got to be a way for us to be able, whether we bring it to the commission, whether we bring it to staff, to be able to help the residents when they fall into something like this. And I know you want to say something, George, so go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was just now, minutes ago, talking with Chris. We're already reworking the ordinance and the procedure. Bring that back to you soon. And anyone who has had service interrupted because of the estimation will not have their water cut off. So we're already putting that in place, and not just the young lady that was here this evening.
Thank you. And what I heard from her, I don't think she was trying not to pay. She was trying to come up with something, because her mom is on a fixed income. So if we estimated it for 15 months, maybe we ought to give her 15 months to pay so that she can pay gradually as well. My concern is for other people that have underground issues, and they've actually paid a plumber and fixed it as soon as they were aware of it. But by the time they're aware of it, the safe valves that we put in place, no pun intended, with a meter, are not working. And I think we promised them that they would be notified if something like this happened. That's the reason why we bought and paid for the Neptune meters.
Understood.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the commission feels about something like that.
I think we all probably agree. Let's go to Commissioner Biederman.
So you make a valid point about 15 months of estimating. It does say estimating on the bill, if you read the bill. And I'm not, a lot of us just pay the bills and we don't think about reading it, but it is there. But my concern is when we do a estimate, and then we hit them with the total usage, how does that affect the tier pricing? That might be a very valid concern and a reason why the bill might be a little bit higher than normal. Vin, do you have an answer on the spot, or is that something you have to come back with us on? Okay.
Yeah, and by the way, our staff is very professional, but
Of course.
it's very, as a matter of fact, this is what it is the only thing we can do. So if we need to bring something up to the city management or us in order to look at this a little closer, we may be able to just to have a route to do it, that's all.
Well, in addition to changing the ordinance and the procedure, which we're already doing, there's a customer service element to this too. And not only what we do, but how we do it's important. So we need to continue to reinforce that message too. So in addition to working out payment plans, it's how you deliver the message a lot of times.
Yes, sir.
too.
Commissioner Gruber, then Commissioner Quintana.
Yeah, I just, with a situation like that, I don't think anytime anybody's getting estimated bills and 15 months later, they should ever be hit with a bill that high. And if we can't get it together and get a bill, then I think we should eat the cost. I don't think any resident should have to be hit with something like that. That's my 2 cents whenever you look at the ordinance and how it's done.
Yep. Commissioner Quintana.
I'm kind of having this like weird out of body feeling because I keep hearing the conversations I've been having over the last 3 days. I'm like, wait, is my room bugged? But exactly,
Google is listening.
Exactly. What's that?
Google.
Google is listening because it's just exactly the same words I said. If somebody's bill is 15 months behind, we should give them 15 months to pay. If it's partly our responsibility, that person is in my district. But this is not the first time I've taken a call like this. And so, and the other message that George just said that he and I had a conversation about, it's like, it's how you tell someone that they're still going to be responsible for the bill. And we've very clearly told city leadership, all of us have, that customer service is a priority. And so if someone used the water, they use the water. I hadn't thought about the point that you said, Commissioner Biederman, but I understand they need to be responsible for it. But I mean, I had an issue like this for my mother, who lives in Hialeah, and I had to come and intervene on her behalf where she had a broken pipe, and she was able to get a prorated bill. She didn't have to pay the full amount.
Credit. Well, we have a credit system too.
Yeah, I know, because I've had to advocate for people in Hollywood on the county side, so I know. But so I don't know that any of that was presented to this resident, but I definitely do think that beyond just solving her problem, I think it's a really good idea for us to create a solution that's more systemic.
And I assure you, we're hearing all of these different elements, which we will address in what we bring back to you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Shuham.
Obviously, I agree with that, but I will say, when we have had issues with situations like this, anytime I've called Vin's staff, it is resolved. They reach out. I mean, it's a very high level of customer service. So I'm curious if the young lady that was here came here first, or she's, yeah, so.
You're absolutely right. My experience with dealing with leadership in the department has always been very responsive. But she wasn't dealing with Vin. She was dealing with someone at a lower level of customer service.
Okay.
Who wasn't as accommodating.
Gotcha. Okay. So I would just say then maybe it's a part of the solution is just some training of those frontline people that receive the phone calls would just go a long way. So thank you.
So looking forward to seeing the ordinance change, city manager, and obviously the customer service approach needs tweaking. But with regards to the ordinance change, some months ago, and I don't know, probably a year ago, we talked about the language in the ordinance with regards to application to pool leaks. There are some exclusions there that are not fair. I think if there's a leak on the property, there should be the same credit afforded to a pool leak, same as a household plumbing leak, same as a commercial property leak. There's not a reason why one leak should qualify for credit and the other types of leaks not. So on the leak part of it, there should be fairness across the board. On the estimated billing, that's, I think the prorated monthly payment plan is probably the right way to go. But at some point, we have to not estimate for 15 months. We should have a restriction on how far back, utilities gets to back bill. It shouldn't be missing for 15 months and then look at it. So, and the point that Commissioner Hernandez made about the Neptune meters, from what I understand, these electronically read meters should be alerting. I don't know if they have the capability of alerting to a leak on property, and if that's the case, it needs to light some alert on the staff side, and then the staff should call the resident. If we can get to that level of, hey, we know our system noticed something wrong with your property and your consumption, call a plumber before it gets to 30 days and a $2,000 bill. I mean, we'd be, a great customer service and city service provider if we could do that. So whether that's technologically possible or not, I don't know. Yeah, it is already
Do
there.
it in Hialeah.
Do it in Hialeah. We need to do it.
It is, and as a matter of fact, we promised our residents that was one of the advantage of that. Plus, if you were on an automatic where you give them a credit card, they would alert you right away. And there has been instances that has not happened, and the city has had credit those accounts because of that. So the technology exists. Whether the product is actually living up to its promise or not, that's a whole different story. And that's something that doesn't come every day, but there are some people when it does come up, and they just don't know how to handle it. And most of the people that comes up with, they happen to be on a fixed income.
I'm certain we'll be walking through a lot of detail on how everything works, and then we'll have that for you when we bring it back to you soon.
All right, final comment by Commissioner Bierman.
And we have talked about this before. It's a software issue that the provider isn't providing anymore. And when we ordered the last meters, I did bring it up. But it's not till the resident brings it up that we really hear it. But I think that it's a software thing that we could relatively fix in-house, hopefully.
All right, thank you all so much. That concludes citizens' comments, and this meeting is adjourned.